All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Trek Talk. I'm TechMass16,
Uh, Kirk.
And I'm Handy.
and we've got nothing for you today. Absolutely, we're just gonna talk smack the whole time.
All right, so fuck you guys, and thank you for listening. Join us next time.
uh, anyways, I wanted to tell. We'll start off with a story about my kids because this is hilarious. So I
Here we
got
go.
I got two I got two kids. One's 4, one's 12 months old. Well, he's 13. He's about a little over a year. Anyways, we meet up with a friend of mine who I haven't seen in a pretty long time, because of COVID and whatnot. And we're sitting at this restaurant, and for some reason, like both of my kids decide to be as crazy as possible. And and for some reason, like where we're sitting, there are groups of people in I guess what you can call dresses and what you can call like suits, but they're not really. They're like really short dresses, and they're supposed to be suits, but like dudes aren't wearing the jackets, or they're like unbuttoning their white shirts. They could expose their chest hairs or whatever, their 4 chest hairs that they have.
Were you in a Russian nightclub?
Yeah, no. In any case, my younger one, he decides to just like I want to take a closer look at this, and he just starts walking over to these tables. And I'm like, dude, you got to come back here. And so I tell his older brother, like, go get him, right? So he brings his older brother goes, and he's like, come on, baby, let's go back. And we come back, and my older one doesn't even want to sit in the table at the table either because he's done eating. So he's just like yelling and acting crazy. And the little one's like, oh, good, big one's not watching me. So he goes back, starts going back to these tables, right? And he's cute enough where he can go to any table and everybody's like, "Oh my God, look at him! He's so adorable." So he gets all that kind of affection, smiles at them, runs to the next table. Gets the same kind of affection, runs to the next table. So constantly I'm telling my older kid to go grab the younger kid and bring him back. And anyways, so some of these tables of some of these young individuals, they finish up, they get up and start leaving, and my younger kid just goes right after them. Starts walking right behind.
He's like, I'm going with you guys.
Just like, I, so then my wife and I have to go and grab him because he would just walk out with them, and we're like, dude, you're only 12 months and you're already chasing tail. Jeez, man.
I thought this story was gonna take a turn. Like they stood up to leave, and he decided to put his head up their skirts or something.
Yeah, that would have
Well,
been more entertaining. You
he
should have you
he,
should have
he,
embellished.
he could have. He's small, so even if he were to try to stick his head up this year, it's like he wouldn't even reach the skirt because it's so short.
I don't know, man. 'Cause the way you were talking, man, I'm not gonna lie, you kind of gassed it up. I thought he was like yanking out somebody's pube hairs from underneath the skirt because you put the emphasis on the short skirts, and I was like, that's gonna come into play later on.
Yeah, no.
Oh, well, tell your kid to step his mischievous game up.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. At age 12 months, 13 months.
oh my god. So not really Star Trek related, and I'm not gonna get political, but it's gonna be whatever I'm saying. It. Have any of you watched Dave Chappelle's newest thing?
Yeah, or at least the quote controversial parts.
Oh my god, no one was safe. It was so like I'm not even gonna quote any of that stuff. It was pretty bad. Um, I mean bad as in like raunchy. Um, I thought it was interesting, and I don't normally watch that type of stuff because they always get super political. But when I saw everyone getting mad at him, not just one side or the other, like everyone across the board was getting like we're so offended. I was like, this has to be amazing. If everyone is this mad, it has to be great. So I decided to put it on and I watched some of it, and holy shit, I mean, he's never really pulled punches before, but this one, man, he stuck the knife in and twisted it. It was raunchy.
Well, it's his last special for Netflix. You know,
Yeah,
that fulfills the
yeah.
contract. So he's just
Oh
like,
man,
screw it.
I mean, jeez, OP. I mean, here's the deal. Like, I'll say a lot of the content of what he said, the way that he said it was obviously very abrasive, and of course, that's what he did it on purpose. But like, if you boil it down and take away if you look at where the content is coming from, I mean, kind of hard to say that he's not telling the truth. I mean, on some things, it's coming from a place of truth, and it's definitely not the way to start a conversation, but like everything he was saying, I understood exactly where it was coming from. So I might not necessarily agree with it, but it's just like, I freaking get it. Anyway, moving on to the actual game, I want to give a shout out to Admiral. Give me a second, guys. I'm mildly hungover. Sharky from RMU. So, fun story time. The other day, somebody hit me OPL ISO, and they were cloaked. Now, the cloak is supposed to give you this chance where people don't know it's you. And it worked, but it didn't. Because when I was online, the person hit me while I was online. And when the banners showed up, it actually showed who they were and their alliance. And so I saw where it said RMU, and I saw it disappeared before I got an opportunity to really like commit the name to memory. But I remembered RMU, and then when I clicked my battle log, it said cloaked player or cloaked ship or whatever. So they hit me OPL for Isogen 3, which I don't care about getting hit OPL. But what chapped my ass is this alliance is allegedly a part of this agreement where if you have a particular type of isogen, you don't hit anybody else OPL because you have the ability to farm it, to mine it. And they have ISO 3. And I looked, I double checked, they have it. So I went and knocked on a few of their doors, kicked in a few doors, sent them a message and was like, hey, I was under the impression you guys were part of this, what's up with this? And long story short, they handled it really awesome. I talked to Handy about it, and we both messaged them. We got quite promptly within a day. They said this is who it was. I'm not going to throw the name out there, but this is who it was. We told them what was going on. They kind of, maybe there was some miscommunication, and it's not going to happen again. From that player, we're sorry, blah, 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 blah. So it was handled really awesome. And I feel like if it would have been certain other teams, it would have gone to all out KOS. But I thought that it was handled really awesome. And what'd you say, Handy?
I said definitely would have been insta KOS.
So what I'm saying is it would have just been like, oh, prove it. You don't have proof. But because I said, hey, I was able to see it. I know they're from your alliance. I don't know who it is. Rather than just denying it and calling me a liar, they actually looked into it, asked around, figured out who it was, investigated it, and apologized and said, this is the person. This is not going to happen again. There was a mix up, whatever. So, basically rather than saying, haha, you can't prove it because you don't have a screenshot like an asshole, they took my word, at least, at face value, and ran with it and checked on it, and they were able to get down to the bottom of it. So I think that was really awesome of RMU. I think it speaks volumes to how they handle themselves. So a lot of props and mad respect for that. I thought that was really awesome the way they handled it, because we know so many times those things happen in this game, and people are like, fuck you, you can't do anything about it. But that was not the case at all. So there you go. I know, I said something nice about somebody. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm a little dumbfounded. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know.
Just pitching them out.
I know. Normally I'm just like piss and vinegar and like shitting all over everybody, but no, like it was really awesome to do that. And So there you go. So if you ever have dealings with RMU, just know that they will do their, commit to due diligence and try to get down to the bottom of it. So there you go.
Right on.
Does anybody else got anything? I mean, I got one more thing to talk about, but I don't want to just sit here and like monologue for the whole first part of the show.
Feel free to. I mean, that's what I usually do. I usually monologue the first part of the show.
Yeah, sometimes. All right. So the next thing we'll bring up is I do have to say that in the past 5 months or so, 6 months or so, something like that. Anyway, I've developed a whole new respect for free-to-play players or players that are very budgeted. Like I just bought, just the battle pass, or like once every few months you might buy $100 pack or something. Free-to-play and budget players. And I've developed a whole new respect. It's the planning for you to be able to complete some of this stuff. It's like, back in the day, I would just upgrade everything as soon as I could, and then if I came up short, I would just kind of, wait till I had a couple extra bucks and throw it together and buy a pack of whatever I needed. But now, I find myself like, my Valdor, I've been able to upgrade. I think at this point I've calculated I think I can go like the tier 4 or 5 at this point, and I have the resources to pretty much get there. But now I find myself like having to wait for certain spend events so that I can complete them. So I have enough resources to complete those events, and trying to plan that out, and actually looking at that little schedule they put out. Before, I never paid attention to it. I was like, yeah, whatever, exit X, okay, fuck off. So
yeah, events are much more difficult to get done.
It is. You have to really think, like, okay, like the spending event, like first the Borgston and Wharf. Like I had to basically go, okay, which one is more important to me? Because I have a lot of resources to spend, but if I spend and try to max out to get Ston, I may or may not have enough to get Wharf. So do I just say, I hope I can do it? Well, no, I want Worf. Worf is definitely going to be a lot better officer. So, you know what I mean? There's this planning, and you're balancing, and you're looking back and forth, and I'm actually sitting here like fucking doing math on the calculator, like trying to figure out what I need. And so, I've been very critical of like, let me back up just a second. I'm still critical of free-to-play who whine about the spenders. Shut up, nobody cares. And that's something you'll never hear me whine about somebody that spends or anything like that. But I definitely have developed a new respect for their gameplay, and I will say that now playing both, being a spender and buying all the stuff I need, and then going to a more free-to-play route that I am now, with just purchasing the Battle Pass every month, the $20, it is infinitely harder for a free-to-play as far as the grinding, and they definitely put in, I would say, at least 3 or 4 times the work that you spenders do. And because here's the thing, I've done both, so there's no arguing.
No, I believe that totally.
The work that they put in, it's like for you to get an officer, it takes 3 or 4 clicks and a couple authorizations and a call to the bank or something.
One caveat to that, though, real quick, is not every free-to-play does a good job. So, like, the ones that are up around 40 right now, that have always been free-to-play, like, those guys are freaking animals.
If you've always been free-to-play and you are, 39, I know some of them are, like, 40 now, trying to get to 41 and stuff like that.
There's even a 42 free-to-play.
The power disparity is still huge. Like, I'm at my level at 42. There's some free-to-play people that are like 41, 42. And I'm 42 with I haven't upgraded any of my guns yet, okay? So I'm like 42. I got to the point where I could build my Valdor. I built it. And then I'm upgrading a few things. Like, I'm upgrading my scrapyard to 42 right now. So I haven't even done anything that's going to raise my power. So essentially, my power level is pretty much the same as a 41 with maxed out guns. And some of those people are still 8-9 million behind me in power because of the research. I have infinitely more research done than they do because of a lot of the money I spend. So, the level doesn't really matter here because there's people out there that, you could look at 2 level 50s and one level 50 will have a freaking 98 million power level, and you'll have like 72. So it doesn't matter. But anyway, the bottom line is, mad respect to you all who definitely do the grind and like the everyday stuff, like doing the swarm, the new nano minerals or whatever, doing the new stuff. People that are knocking out their Borg and grinding their Stella stuff and doing all this stuff every day. I mean, I don't see how some of you guys and gals are still married. I don't.
Well,
if I had
budget the time, dude.
Even me budgeting my time, bro, spending 2 hours a day on the game minimum, which is quite a bit if you have a family and you have a professional life and a social life outside of this. Even then, there's a very limited amount that I can get done, and then playing sporadically throughout the day. It's super difficult. So I think people need to remember that, yeah, they may be lower level, they may be lower power, but they probably putting in 2, 3, 4 times the work that you are if you're dropping money every month.
Well, the way I do it is, I normally, dude. The way I do it is normally I find the most efficient way to kill my hostile, so I don't waste too much time. Then I move on.
Yeah, I mean there's that. But you look at some of these other people. I mean, they're like, some of these free to play folks are like, yeah, I'm like 200 million for one faction, or 250 million. That's pretty damn substantial. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, especially if you're like level 40 or 41 and you're already like a quarter of the way to maxed out. Well, used to be maxed out. Now we know it's not, but at that point, I mean, that's pretty substantial. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of effort. And as you get these bigger ships, the price increases. So that's more resources that you got to grind. So
actually, that's a good segue into what I was recently on DJ's podcast, and we were talking about how the community is outraged over getting the Borg Ston free to play, because Scopely said you could get it free to play, and then there was a huge uproar that it could be free to play if you had resources stashed up or whatnot, and we got into the debate what's considered free to play, and DJ's has an exception where if you get gift cards,
he kind of agreed with you at the end there, though.
He did agree with me at the end, but he had this exception where if you get gift cards from for your birthday and you spend those gift cards on the game, it's not your money, therefore you're technically free to play. To which I'm like, no, dude. If you had a financial transaction from your account, you're not free to play.
Yeah.
But
Anybody out there that has had any money, like even anything, $5, I don't care. If you've had any money go through your account, whether you spend it or not, you're not free to play.
But Handy, you had a great. So when Handy and I got together, Handy had a great example of free to play. You buy a level 50 account. You didn't actually pay Scopely. Are you technically free to play?
Yeah, it's like, come on, like,
yeah.
Shout out to Orion's account for being free to play.
I know, it's amazing that account when that account changed hands, and clearly we all know that it did. When that account changed hands, it was like 10 levels above me, and then now I'm like a level behind it, or something. It's really funny. That account's not really growing.
Well, it's a
I don't think he's ever spent any more money on it.
I mean, you dropped like $4 or $5 grand on it. I mean, what's you know what I mean? Like, why stop now?
Yeah, you've already spent money. What's the difference?
I don't know.
So we can announce Handy and I met in person. I got Handy to drink a beer, which is apparently a big task because he's not a big drinker.
I do not typically drink alcohol, no. But I'll enjoy a beer. Given the peer pressure.
Yeah, I totally pressured you. I'm like, we'll get 2 beers, and Handy's like, okay.
You can't go out. You can't go out to dinner with a Russian guy and not fucking drink.
Not totally Russian, just saying.
And he didn't really drink. He had like 2 beers. Like, that's not drinking.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I smoked weed, but I didn't smoke weed.
No. Well, you know what I mean, I think.
I think what Handy's referring to is the way that Slavic people normally indulge in drinking by having
So
like
what you're saying is he didn't jump up on the table, squat, cross his arms over his chest, and start doing like jump kicks.
Correct. He did not do that.
All right, so he didn't pull a check off. So clearly it wasn't drinking.
Right.
Exactly. I didn't order a Racticino either, so
Is that, I don't know, are Klingon beverages popular in the former SSR?
why not?
Yeah, apparently.
Jesus Christ. Fun fact, Russia actually, and all of the former Eastern Bloc countries, up until very recently, had a huge alcoholism problem. So it wasn't just a stereotype. It was legit. I feel like it was something like a quarter or a third of all their deaths were like alcohol related.
Jesus.
It was pretty. I was watching a thing on it not too long ago. I was like, Jesus, and they were throwing the stats out there. I was like, holy shit.
That's pretty bad.
I mean, yeah.
So, but yeah, it was cool. Handy and I met. We hung out for a few hours, and then I went home.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if we talked about it on here, but well, you guys know, but the other people don't. Grazi and I went out for we grabbed some dinner. He and his wife, and then my family and I. He was down here in Florida doing some vacation-y stuff with the family, and he broke away for an evening, and we went out and grabbed some dinner on the bay. So, well, to be quite technical, it was actually the Gulf, but yeah. So shout out to Grazi. He even paid and everything, man.
Yes, thank you, Tech. Tech bought me dinner.
Yeah,
And apparently I'm a cheap date.
yeah. You don't drink, so yeah, you date. I
To
spent
be
a
fair,
scoop,
I was driving.
man.
Anyway, all right, we clearly don't have that much going on. All right, people from the audience, anybody. What about
Actually,
lethal?
there is something going on our server, which I think is hilarious because I'm getting some info from an anonymous source. It has to do with the. Did you know there was a BOLD-VHC war?
I did hear that. And we were asked to get involved
Yeah.
because,
All right. So
we have lots of love for Bold. As well
right.
known.
So
So
let me share with you kind of how it started. It started with an Epic Armada during an event. So Bolt started an Epic Armada and it failed. VHC came in about 2 minutes later and finished it, and Bold got mad about it. And so, Bold made a demand for, that it's an apology. There's an apology to be made. And then if an Epic Armada is started and they don't finish it, then they have to finish it and then demote the person who, quote, stole the Armada.
you're kidding me. 2 minutes later? Was it actually 2 minutes later?
Yeah, that's what my source is telling me.
I'm sure the time distinction. Here's the deal.
Time's important. If it was 5 seconds after they failed,
let me just say, no shit. Let me say this. What I'm saying is that I'm sure, knowing what I've dealt with the group in question here, I'm sure that it was a long time, and I'm sure that it took a while, and then they restarted it. But I'm sure that even though, even if that's the case, I'm 100% sure that nobody from Bold is going to admit that. They're going to say it was 5 seconds or 10 seconds or something.
But if it's during an event, you don't got a buffer time.
I mean, I tell our guys 30 seconds, assuming that they're going to wait about 15, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually used to give them a lot longer in deep space, but then I realized, like, if you're that serious about it, somebody's going to send a disco out there. Like, if I think I'm going to lose the Armada, I'll send my Discovery out there just so I can still see in the system, so I can instantly repair.
And you can also start the Armada with your disco, if you need to, while you're repairing or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, it's more of a personal responsibility. Like, you should be paying enough attention, and you're looking at the Armada, and you're like, you know what? I don't think we have enough power. Let me go ahead and get ready to reset it. Or, hey, I'm out of directives. Can one of you guys go ahead and get ready to reset this so we can recall it, because it's going to be a recall. So, I mean, yeah, even in deep space, though, like everywhere, I'm with Handy. I'm going to give somebody 30 seconds. And 30 seconds, that should be enough time to warp into disco if you've got to, repair, use your speed ups, click the help, whatever, do all the clicking and all that stuff. That should be enough time to do that. I mean, 30 seconds is pretty good. And that's 30 seconds from when I see it. So you probably get longer than that.
Exactly.
So even if I'm scanning around and I see a discount Armada, I'll still sit there and wait for about 30 seconds. It may have been 10 minutes ago, but I'm still going to give you that extra 30 seconds because that's when I saw it. That's when the timer starts. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with Tech on that. Like, during an event, man, it's especially how easy it is to get rare tokens now, which means it's also easier to get epic tokens. I mean, it's cutthroat, man. I mean, it's almost impossible. You got people starting level 23 rares that are like level 48 just to try to finish an event. So,
which is crazy.
I mean, it does get pretty nuts. So, I mean, I could see where Bold would be upset if it was super, super quick, but if it was during an event, like, normally for events, we give people more leeway, but for Armada events, generally we give people less because, I mean, we gotta get those points, man.
So apparently that's been how the war started, and it's been going on for like 5 days now.
Normally I would have gotten involved, when asked, because I was asked. And normally, and I didn't really respond, which is sad, because normally I would have gotten involved, and I would have talked to Coma, I would have talked to, VHC, and I would have been like, hey guys, come on.
This is silly. Yeah, there we go.
You know what I mean? But what's sad is like a few people out there that criticize the shit out of me for getting involved in stuff just when I'm trying to fucking help. No, I don't want to fucking help. Sad.
Andy, it's not your fault for this war, by the way. Just saying.
Have you?
Well, of course not. But
it's somehow Inko's fault.
If I could bring a couple people together, because I've talked to both parties at length on other issues, and I have a rapport, and I can bring them together and just mediate. Should I? I don't know. I used to, but now I'm just like, it's not my problem.
Have either of you ever played Wing Commander 4?
No.
I remember it was on for PlayStation. It was like 4 fucking discs. But the thing was, it was one of those kind of like choose your own ending kind of things. And so all throughout, I mean, it was like a space, a spaceship shooter, kind of like Star Fox kind of thing.
Okay.
And but it would go to these cutscenes, and it was like live acting, and it would go to these cutscenes, and like there would be like a situation, and then the screen would pause, and you would have different options that you could choose to take the conversation in one direction. Like at the very beginning, there's one, and it reminds me. So anybody that's playing that's old enough to remember Wing Commander 4, we're talking like mid 90s here. You'll remember that there was an option at the very beginning of the game where this dude like pulls a knife on this guy, and your character turns around, and the screen pauses, and there's like you go through these two options, and it's like, this pisses me off. Ain't my business. And I think at this point, Handy's gotten to the second choice. He's just like, ain't my business, and just fucking gets on with his life because he's just sick of all of you guys' bullshit.
Pretty much. But that's not really, like, if I think I can help and somebody asks, then, like, when somebody asks, I usually help. But, like, I don't just stick my nose into something when nobody asks, because that's just being nosy.
Here's the issue. We've seen it in the real world with countries and wars and things like that, and just like in this game, the same people who are like, Nona shouldn't be the server police. What the fuck is wrong with them? They should mind their own business. Are the same entities, many of them, that will come and ask for help. And it's really interesting that a lot of you get upset when Nona gets involved, either diplomatically or warships or whatever the case may be. You get upset when it's not in your favor, but it's all well and good when those big ass ships are showing up to help you. And we've seen it.
I mean, people are just hypocrites. We all are. Even I am. I can be a hypocrite. It's just what it is.
I mean, it's super frustrating to see, and that's why I've gotten to the point now where I'm just pretty much criticizing everybody, and Nona's no exception. I freaking roasted the shit out of Nona, and I'm in the damn alliance, but it's just being here. I can tell you all that I used to be a Nona hater. I used to be just like you, to you whiny fuckers listening. I used to be just like you. I was like, it's Nona's fault, and they're bullies, and blah, 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 blah. And really, it's just some sort of misplaced sense of, online digital insecurity or something. And now that I'm here, I see that
in a game like this, I think people just need an enemy.
And it's popular to hate the person on top, right? That's why just like in anything, it's lonely at the top. So when you're number one, people find a way to not like you, and they'll root for other people just because they're fighting you, and there's not really a reason for hate. It's there because it represents something in their lives that they can't control or that upsets them. And this girl just fell off the fucking skateboard.
Distracting.
Yeah, I sit her on my porch and I hear click, click, clap, blub, 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 blub. Anyway, you alright? Okay, alright. So, sorry, anyway, y'all go ahead. I lost my fucking train of thought. Fucking making skate videos.
Just for the record, Nona is not number one. Dark is.
Well, that's because Inca went to Dark.
No, Inco's back home.
Inco's back home.
Yeah.
So why is Dark number one?
I don't know, because they're number one.
American Express? What the fuck you think?
Yeah. How does one usually become number one? They spend more.
Yeah, I mean, they absorbed all the power players from most.
They absorbed all the power players from half the fucking server to do it, which is great. I mean, if that's what they wanted to do, they got it done, and now they're number one. So they can have the spot. It's all theirs. They are now number one.
All right, Dark,
everybody can leave it alone. That'd be fucking wonderful.
Dark, you've now inherited the mantle of responsibility. You now have to go fucking be the server police.
Yep.
You know what? I'm already seeing it now, man. Dark's a bunch of bullies, man.
They're pricks. Look at those guys being number one. How dare they?
God damn it. fucking Lethal and the crew paying everybody. I bet you're paying Chef, aren't you, you bastards? He's a dark spy.
Well, who's the new dry hitter? There's some other dry hitter out there, isn't there?
There's always a dry hitter.
Wait, Wraith isn't dry hitting anymore?
I don't know. But they're paying that guy too. You heard it here, folks. Dark is paying players to dry hit.
We said it was told to you from the internet, so you know it's a fact.
Yes. Yes, it's
the internet.
reported and syndicated, so it's true.
This is This is as reliable. It's right up there with the reliability of fucking Wikipedia.
Hey, Wikipedia is actually fairly reliable.
Actually, it is
Sure.
now. It's amazing. It's so funny that I read an article on it about Wikipedia, and they were saying that people are so strict with their editing rules that if they catch you putting something in there that's false, like they will strip you of your privileges. Like you can't go in there and contribute anymore. Apparently, they're really on the ball. But anyway, that's a completely different.
Well, yeah. To segue into tangent away to that point, it depends on how popular a page is. So if you're editing a page on, say, like Donald Trump, then it's going to be like highly visible and strict and whatnot, and things will get changed within seconds of you changing it. But if you're editing a page on, electromagnetic neutron theory of, binary star systems, a lot less people are going to be looking into that. So it just,
Fucking nerds.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's just obscure pages,
Yeah.
So that'll determine what gets changed or not. Okay, I'll be back. My kid is doing something in the kitchen, and
We'll hold it down for you. So I have noticed some of our players have dropped. To my estimation, one player in the past week has spent no less than about $5,000.
it's not handy.
Well, it's not Handy, and it's also not Inco. So, um, I don't know. I mean, Handy, how long do you think that's going to last? Do you think that our illustrious spenders are going to start a bidding war on the top spot, or what's the
No, I
scoop?
don't think so. I mean, I
I don't
know,
think so.
I know our players. If people are spending, it's just because that's what they feel like doing.
Okay.
There's been zero talk about trying to stay number one or anything like that. What's interesting is our free to play or very low spend players. It's more important to them that we're number one, and all of our spenders are like, I don't care.
Yeah,
It's interesting how that dynamic works. I think a lot of our lower powered players take more pride in the number one spot sort of thing. Like maybe they're partially in Nona because they want to be in the number one alliance. Maybe partially, not in full. I think once people might join for that reason, and then once they're here and they realize the camaraderie and that there's very, very, very low drama inside the alliance, and we stick together and help each other, et cetera, that becomes the reason they stay.
Except when Chief Drunkenstein gets raided. Fuck you, I'm not helping you again.
Well, yeah, he gets raided almost every night. I mean, after you've been raided 100 times, I mean, people aren't going to come show up anymore. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Like, sorry, I can't help you. You can't shield.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But look,
there's lots of alliances that would kick a person like that just because they can't shield. We won't kick you, but we're not going to defend you.
I mean, if you're in TC, we'll probably defend you, right? It's a lot easier, of course, but
yeah.
Or if we just want to fight. I mean, that's really the reason why PvP is one of the main reasons. It's like, ooh, I get to blow up people and have a reason to do it, and people can't be mad at me for it, so let's do it. So
yeah, I mean that's 90% of the reason anybody gets involved in.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know. War Wizard's down there. War Wizard got in on it the other day, but it was just. It got to the point, it's all in the same housing system, and now with the new targeting parameters, you go to try to target the enemy ship really quickly, but it automatically targets whatever base you're near. So it's a pain in the ass, man. So, but on Dark, freaking bumping
supposedly
up,
they're gonna fix that. The targeting.
Yeah, hopefully they do. So on Dark bumping up though, Lethal is down there. Lethal, do you want to come up and talk to us and just tell us, I don't know, give us something. We're trying to keep it alive up here, man. We want to hear, what is it like for the power
What's it like
shift?
for the number one alliance?
Yeah, I mean,
We want to know.
I mean, it's been a long time coming. I mean, damn. I mean, the Dark's been beefing up. You know,
They've
you know.
they've put a lot of work into it, and
Yeah.
I got to hand it to them that they've been kicking ass and been recruiting like crazy, and yeah, good for them.
I
People
don't think
don't hate
Lisa wants to talk about it.
people don't hate them like they hate us.
They used to.
Um.
Dark used to
Yeah.
be just absolutely hated when they were all into rating. I just don't think they're into the rating as much anymore.
Well,
But I don't
TC
know
broke
that for
TC
sure.
TC kind of broke rating, right? You know what I mean? So
Well, not only TC, but just once all their big players got big enough to where rating just doesn't help as much as it used to.
it was never about the resources, man.
That's not true. It's always
Shit
about,
me.
but for some people, sure, I get it. But look at them now. Like some of these people that were always on the top of the leaderboard for resources rated, now we're giving up because the time invested needed just isn't worth it. And, you know, how hard it is to find bases is also part of it. But there's also like once you spend 6 hours rating somebody and you don't have much to show for it that's useful, you're like, well, I don't care anymore.
No, man. I mean, I'm telling you, it was never really about. So for some of the lower level people, you know, it was about the resources, just like it is for anybody who raids. It's not Dark exclusive. But when you start talking about the big guys that were raiding all the time, when Kevin was freaking killing it and all that stuff, dude, it was just because that was what he enjoyed doing. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
mean,
I get it.
to be honest, I mean, he could have got considerably less than what he got, and he still would have done it because it was just that was the aspect of the game that
But
he,
if
you know,
that's
that
the
he
only
enjoyed.
reason, he would still be doing it.
Well, actually, I could tell you what the thought process was in Dark prior, and that was when Nona was like absolutely decimating everybody in every single event. Um, and Most was kind of trying to be, you know, the all right, we got to beat Nona, we got to beat Nona, we got to beat Nona. The one thing that unified everybody in Dark was we don't care about events, we raid, and that's what we do, and that's how we do it, and that's how it kept a lot of players together instead of other alliances imploding trying to compete with Nona. And yeah, once everybody got up there, you know, Chemo and Dark, Chemo and Fox and Nash and everybody, then yeah, they're like, all right, rating sucks because
That's what I'm saying is that was a thing, you know. It was just kind of the thing. I mean, I never was really that much into rating, and then you know I joined Dark and I started rating because it was fun. That was the thing you did, especially you know Friday Saturday night. You go through AC, and every other message was you know somebody's coordinates with you know with the 10-minute pop warning or whatever, you know, hey, keep an eye on this, and just posting, you know, you'd have people posting a bunch of juicy bases that were unshielded and bookmark this one, they just shielded, but bookmark it for later, and you know, stuff like that. And it was an event, you know, and that's how it went. And then you know, TC happened, and most of your big alliances that had all the RSS kind of moved to TC, and you know, that's just kind of how it happened. You know, shields became more readily available, all these other things. So, I mean, yeah, it's just kind of the way it went down. But I would be interested to hear kind of the, you know, what was the goings on? Was that the intention, or was it just an organic progression? You know what I'm saying? Was it like the intention, like we want to be the biggest one on the server, so we're actively going to do this, or was that just a byproduct of however the business is being handled within Dark?
Well, from what what I've been told in the past is, well, okay, if you look at their actions, actually speak louder than right? So, from their actions and how extremely heavy they've recruited, I mean, it's pretty obvious that they're recruiting powerful players. So, I would say that that was their goal. Whether they cared about being number one or not, I don't think really matters. They were just trying to get powerful players together to be stronger, which is the goal of any alliance. So, of course, that was a goal.
Right. Well, still, like I said, I mean, I'd definitely be interested in hearing from somebody from Dark. So we only got, I think, one member of Dark down there, Lethal, and he's like, "Fuck y'all, I ain't talking to y'all." So, I wish we could get somebody else in here to talk about it. Also, another thing, I hear that Nash has returned.
I heard that as well. I guess he's playing
So,
again.
I know we need to try to get Nash up here and explain to us what the hell. I mean, was it just? I'm speculating, but probably had something to do with somebody said, "Hey, man, by the way, they just released all the new stuff up to level 60," and maybe that was enough to go, "Well, maybe I need to go check that out."
Probably. I
mean,
don't
that would
know
be
what
my
his reasons for quitting the game were. Does anybody know?
Tech, you're part of the sewing circle.
What's up? Sorry, I was away chasing a kid.
What was Nash's reason for his? What was his reason for not playing anymore?
Well, he's back in Dark now. He was online the last couple of days, but his thing was he has no interest in playing the game, or at least at the time, he had no interest in playing the game whatsoever. He was sick of doing dailies. He was sick of grinding, and one of the things that killed it for him was there was no other worthy opponent when Dark and Nona became allies. So the two top alliances that you could actually have the power to do something or the power to match, you're allied. So anybody else isn't worth picking on because they're much lower. And so that was kind of his last deal. And then obviously Scopely being Scopely with their content rollout, he was just sick of the game, so he quit. But I see that he's back in Dark now, and it seems that he's been active. Maybe probably not doing anything. Makes sense.
Makes
Yay.
sense.
Oh yeah, it does. I'm just trying to complete this damn domination event.
I haven't logged into the game yet.
Yeah, it's domination, display of dominance, and some other crap. Excuse me.
Can we all agree that domination is the single worst event outside of mining?
It's
Up there.
easy. It's easy for most people. Like you promote like one officer, or promote them like one level, and it's like, there you go. Here's all your points.
Well, I just found it ridiculous. People were vying for the leaderboards for domination, and it was just such terrible rewards.
Excuse me. Oh yeah, I mean the regular normal event, but it's you got domination right now for the battle pass deal, so that's what I'm.
Well, I mean, just for the battle pass is fine, but we used to have like domination events with domination leaderboards, and people would go nuts over that, and then your rewards were like 1 million trade. You're like, what?
Yeah, it's silly.
It's silly. Ding ding.
It really is. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's pretty much it for me. I don't, I'd be interested in hearing about this VHC thing from somebody in VHC. Or Bold if they want to come, but obviously Bold, not very big fans of Handy and I.
Let's see if they're willing to come talk.
I mean, honestly, I don't have a dog in this fight, so I'm just interested in hearing about like what's going on. I don't think we've had. Have we had anybody from VHC up on the stage before? I think it might be nice to be able to get VHC up here because I mean we've had BOLD and MBD up here several times to talk about different things.
Well, they're always involved in the conflicts, so they're always here.
Oh yeah, but what it'd be nice if we could get somebody from VHC up here. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
To weigh in on it and let's see. You can just edit out this long ass pause.
VHC to the stage, please. VHC, come to the stage.
Your child is waiting.
That's funny.
NightFury is not responding.
We need someone from BHC. Someone. One of us. One of us.
That just reminds me of that song from Austin Powers. What if God was one of us?
I mean, the song is definitely not just from Austin Powers, but I know what you mean.
Well, I will see if Coma's available.
Coma, chameleon.
And who else do I know from BOLD?
Oh, Omen around.
The damn. That's weird. This game is so glitchy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a thing. Let's talk about the glitches because I'm so sick of opening loot chests or opening uh rewards or switching systems or being too long in a system and the game crashes. Anybody had that issue or still has that issue? I know when I talk to guys from Dead, Cook has that happen to him all the time, and I'm just like, WTF, mate? Like, what is going on with this patch?
I don't have a lot of issues. The one issue that I have been having, I don't have too many system issues and stuff like that, but the one I have is when you go to open up a chest, and it just it's like it leaves you in suspense for like 5 minutes. Just kind of like, what am I going to get? What am I winning? What's my reward? And then a lot of times I'll just have to exit out of the app and reload it.
You're right. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's one of the issues that happen. Like, and I could see it happening too because the screen starts to flicker, and if that happens, I just exit the app and open it again. Like it's to a point. It's to a point where, if I'm going to territory space to get some ISO, and it takes, I don't know, whatever it takes my warp time, like 2-3 minutes. Like in that time, I'll close my app and open it again because I know that if I find my Vidar in territory space and I try to look into that system, my app crashes.
Oh, no bueno.
I mean, right? Like you're trying to go to a system and then you try to open the system where your ship went to and your app crashes. And I'm like, I'm in enemy territory and the ship's a sitting duck. Luckily, most people don't pay attention, so like I don't ever get hit, but it's just irritating.
So Omen is going to pop on real quick.
But it's just so irritating. Like for example, I got two different ships and two different systems grinding for two different parts of the event, and if I switch back and forth between the two, if I do it enough times, my app will crash. So I gotta grind with one, finish, and then switch. And then sometimes if I switch, because I'm in one system for too long, it'll crash anyway.
All right. Invite Omen up to the stage.
What in the world? That's. Uh,
Just hit the green accept button at the top, Omen.
You can do it.
God, this ship is so expensive. It's ridiculous.
Which ship?
Valdor.
There he is.
And I think the auger's expensive.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's all relative, right? It's all relative to level. Like, if you're level 50, an auger is cheap, right? But like, if you're in the mid to high 30s, an auger is expensive. So it's all relative. So, at 42, the Valdor is expensive as shit. I'm sure I'll look back and at 46 and be like, oh, it's pretty cheap. That's why I use it all the time, or whatever.
Omen, you're muted.
Yeah, that's because
There
I
you
was
go.
coughing, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Yeah, I apologize up front. I'm dealing with COVID. I'm like on day 3 of pretty bad symptoms, but I should be able to power through this. So if I go on mute, it's probably because I'm coughing.
We'll make
All
sure,
right.
also, just throwing it out there, let's just make sure that we don't do what we normally do, because every time everybody on stage cuts everybody off, so let's just let them finish in its entirety before we start jumping in there with questions and shit.
Sure.
Anyway, so Omen, we understand there's a war going on, and we don't. I didn't know anything about it between VHC. We understand that happened over in Armada, and we just wanted people to explain what the heck was going on. We understand there's a time distinction issue or something.
Sure. I'll see if I can lay out the facts as I know them. Essentially, what's happening at the moment is obviously there's one set of facts and there's two diametrically opposed opinions of what actually happened. Excuse me, what happened with us, and I wasn't there physically, like my ship, well, I mean, as physical as pixels can be in the system, but I was watching and monitoring because I usually watch what people are doing, and I saw something pop up, so I immediately went over and looked at the system. And okay, so here's what happened. One of our mid-level players started an Epic Armada, failed it. It was during that Armada event a few days ago, and had just a sliver left of hull. So as he was transiting back, he was about to get ready to start it, and it got picked up by VHC. So this player sent a message saying, "Hey, you guys took that. We were working on it," or something to that effect. And the player that took it from VHC responded with, "I just popped in the system," or words to that effect, because I don't have the actual screenshot in front of me. "It's an event. Sorry, buddy." And so it was less than a minute that the Armada was hurt. The player that started the conversation was then taken out by one of VHC's players, and that's what started the escalation of aggression. Again, those are the facts as I know them, and I did see the hit on us, and obviously we returned the favor and lost because there was a level 49 player there. I mean, I wasn't there; my ships weren't there, but the lower level, mid-level players were there. Then there was about 24 hours of diplomatic attempts, and all we asked for was an apology, a turning over of a hurt armada of similar value, and also for them to demote the level 49 player. But that last one was more of just a jab, and we also added the comment that the third one is not, is negotiable. So obviously we were just kind of annoyed at what had happened, but we never expected them to follow through with that. So that went back and forth. Screenshots were sent. There was some issue. VHC said, well, it was almost 2 minutes, for comms logs. And as well as I do, man, it takes a little while to initiate a comms log. And a comms log does not indicate how long the player actually waited before he saw a hurt armada. And anybody that's reasonable in game is going to see a hurt epic as they warp into a system and wait a couple of minutes to see if anybody's actually working on it, and then take it. So those are the facts as I see them. And the last little adage that I had was just in my opinion. Obviously, has no merit on anything, but that's where we are now, with us not getting the 2 points that we wanted to end this war with, which is the apology and the turning over of a hurt armada. Over.
So I the time distinction for I know for us, and for me the time distinction, and I've never been like a minute or two, but like at the very minimum like 30 seconds, and I do that all the time. If I warp in and I see a hurt armada, I still wait 30 seconds. I still wait, and it doesn't matter. I mean, he could have been there for 15 minutes for all I know. Even during an event like we were talking about earlier, and I said this earlier when we were talking about it, an event is super cutthroat. But even in an event, I still wait 30 seconds or so, given a chance, because I feel like in 30 seconds is enough time to use your speed ups, warp in your disco, or do whatever it is you need to do to restart it if you really want it. So it sounds like he just from what you're saying, obviously I don't know, but it sounds like this person from VHC just like saw it and immediately started it. Like there was didn't even give any thought. By their own admission, if what you're saying is correct, by their own admission, they didn't wait any time, not even 30 seconds, not even 15. They just immediately started it.
Yeah, that's what's indicated in the chat. The person that let's just say took the hurt armada, not stole. I mean, because that's nobody can really steal anything. But anyway, it's semantics at that point. Person that took the hurt armada that our team was working on stated in the screenshot to the player that messaged them that, hey, I popped in, saw it, started it. Too bad. Events going on.
Were there any of your guys' ships around the armada or anywhere near it?
Yes, they were all in the process of coming back. So as they were warping in, like I said, the level 49 player took out the guy that was trying to talk to them.
Well, right. But was there anybody there when he started it?
That I don't know, because I logged. I went over to that system in terms of looking at that system in game, right? Because I was somewhere else after the chatter had started, and that's when I saw the hit and things started escalating. It normally, I mean, if it was a UNC, it would not have been a big deal. But for a person that's FTP to spend and lose his epic directives, it's a huge deal, man. They're really hard to come by for a person that's relatively FTP, and that's who it was that lost the directives.
So,
Right.
as a matter of fact, I mean, it sounds like the person from your team was actually trying to talk about it, but the person that actually initiated the blowing up of ships was this level 49 player from VHC.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so the person as our player was talking to the person that took the Armada, the level 49 didn't take the Armada. It was a lower level player as well. Well, a mid level player because they're all mid 30s and etc. Um, that's the person that sent back the message saying, I popped in, saw it, took it. Event.
Was
Sorry, buddy. I'm trying to pull up the screenshot now
is
to
this
take a
in
look
deep
at it.
space? Was this a deep space
No,
armada?
no, it wasn't a deep space armada. It was, I think it was like a 37 million armada. So like a 30 level 37, 38, something like that armada. Um, hang on a second. If that's
It sounds like to me, regardless of the who started the Armada, it sounds like the actual aggression started because this person just started whopping your players.
yeah,
Right.
well, he took out one. I don't know if you felt threatened by a level 35. I mean, I don't know, but
Well, it depends on where the ship was. If the ship was parked in the armada circle, right next to the person that's running it, I can see why they blew it up. Because they didn't want to fail it. They didn't want to be interrupted.
no, of course, man. I mean, it's aggression
I
leads
mean,
to aggression. So
if it were me and I was online and it was Nona in that situation, I would have said, just give it to him. Give it back.
yeah,
It's not worth
and
it. Because it's not.
some of
It's not worth the drama.
no, it's not. And the conversation that ensued after that during the diplomatic talks, essentially they were trying to throw our own ROE back in our face, and in terms of like, well, yeah, we took the Armada, we were wrong, but you guys also hit us in the Armada, so you were wrong. So two wrongs, let's call it even. No, that's not the way it works. So there was a ton of conversation back and forth, and I really think that VHC has lost sight of the actual facts, and I keep asking them to. Well, I have asked. I don't say keep. I have asked them to ask their player exactly how long he waited when he warped into the system before he launched that Armada, and it's crickets.
Honestly, because they probably don't know. But really,
Well,
truly,
the
30,
player would know. The player
30,
would absolutely know if he's
30
being
seconds
truthful.
acceptable. It was not in deep space. And your
Correct.
player should have, especially because it wasn't in deep space, your player should have restarted it immediately. And the fact that he didn't means that he wasn't paying attention.
Well,
No,
I will
I
go
just
the opposite route
I
if you just
disagree.
give
Go
me
ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
if you give me a second, Handy, I'll
Yeah,
go
go
the
for it.
opposite route.
Sure.
Like, yeah, like here's the thing. Like, I sort of agree. Like, you should be paying attention, start it immediately, whatever. But to me, what I'm kind of like fixating on in this case is that the shooting started because somebody else started shooting. It's like the whatever was wrong at first. Like, if you have an argument with somebody and I'm arguing with you over whatever, regardless of who's right or wrong, the minute you punch me in the face, you
Yeah, now it's a fight.
yeah, it doesn't
Game.
matter. It doesn't matter what the argument was about. You and everything you're associated with is wrong because you just started fighting when it was simply a verbal disagreement at that point.
Totally
So
correct.
that's to me, if that's the fact that, if that's what happened, it sounds like to me, in my opinion, for whatever it's worth, it sounds like the Armada at this point is not even the issue. The issue is that you just started punching me in the face when I was trying to talk to you.
Right.
Yeah, I
That's what
agree.
that's what it sounds like to me.
I agree.
And
And that's in that scenario, I would say VHC is in the wrong. I mean, they started shooting first.
and
Yeah.
and again, there's only one side of the story, which is the one that I'm telling right now, and the facts that I outlined are the facts that were outlined from the player whose armada was taken, and they were very well written out in terms of timeline and the chain of events that led up to Bold taking an aggressive stance. But like I said, what prefaced the whole conversation is there's one set of facts, but there's two diametrically opposed opinions of what happened. So until you get VHC at the table, I would say it's one sided at the moment, without them being here to talk about it. But that's the way I know the facts rolled out, and that's why we escalated. And after 24 hours of trying to talk back and forth to solve it diplomatically, they essentially told us, "Too bad, you guys should have blah 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 or whatever." And so we then said, "Okay, then we'll escalate," and we did. We're willing to stop if they just simply turn over a epic of same value, lose it after they launch it and give it to us. Essentially what happens when you do that, you have a zero-sum gain, right? So both alliances lose an epic and both alliances win an epic. So the amount of directives that are spent on each side are the same in terms of the. So I mean that to us made the most sense. And then we did kind of give them the finger by asking them to demote somebody, which is we weren't expecting them to to do that in any terms. It was more of a just a dig, right? Because of the failure in diplomacy that person, the failure in diplomacy by that person during the talks. And I'm talking about the level 49. Over.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is that anytime in diplomacy that anytime you ask for something that you already know they're not going to be willing to do, you've essentially thrown in the towel. Because we all know what happens after that. When you ask for something that's unreasonable or that somebody's not going to agree to, then talks are over at that point and war is going to continue.
I don't disagree with your statement, but I think it's not truly characterizing the intent of the ask, because the person that escalated is a Commodore, the one that attacked first during the talks, which is a failure in leadership, in my opinion. So
yeah, I agree.
we discussed up front, so we should ask for this, but then be willing to say, okay, we understand that that's probably not going to happen, and that's okay. But these other two things are non-negotiable, and I think characterizing it like that makes a little bit more sense, in my opinion, than the way you were characterizing it. But I don't disagree. If it was just haphazard or whatever, not thought out logically, over.
I would be interested to know if that level 49 was involved in talk.
Yes.
Before he hit.
Oh no, I don't know. Before he hit, no, I don't think so. Because he was. Go ahead,
I think that's an important distinction, and I'll tell you why. I myself have come into the middle of a situation, like, for example, come up to an armada, guys, like, I don't even know what's going on yet, and they're like, hey, they're about to take me out on this armada, and I'll fly in there and blow them all up and go, what the fuck's going on? All right, armada's safe. Now I can figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So it may have been something like that, and then he started talking. So it may have not been so much a failure on his part. He may have just been trying to protect his own, flew in there, blew some shit up, and then stopped and said, well, I should probably not provoke this into a full-out war. I should probably figure out what the fuck is going on. So it may have just been a knee-jerk reaction that could have happened to any of us.
I don't disagree with that. But there's history there that has not been revealed, and I'm not inclined to reveal it at the moment. So
I don't know. Handy, I go the opposite way. I think if you're even in a position where you do that, I still think at the end of the day we understand it's a game, right? But the rules that we lay down for ourselves, and what we expect of other people is what we should do. And I think that especially if you're in a position where you're a Commodore, you're supposed to be setting a tone I think just willy-nilly hitting people without having any facts, I don't think in any case is very, it's not very logical, and I don't really think that that's the right way to handle a situation. So if it was
No, it's not.
if it was a random player, I'd still say it was wrong, but it's like, it's to be expected, whatever. But as a Commodore, I think you owe it to your team and you owe it to other teams to be in that position, to
But he could have been
not
given
do that.
could have
Well,
been given some misinformation. He
I'll
could
I'll
have
give you.
flown in and not noticed that it was a damaged armada. He could have just assumed that it was at full health and
But
thought it was under threat.
you can say
Like,
that all you
we
want,
just
but we
don't
know
know.
that
We
we know
have
that.
no idea.
Yeah, but
That's
but
all.
what I'm saying is that's the whole point that I'm making. If you don't know, then what are you? You know what I'm saying? Then what are you doing? If you don't know, then you don't act on things you don't know. You try to get the information, and guess what? If somebody
True.
loses an
But
armada, then oh
if you
well.
don't have
But
time to get the information, you might react. A lot of people do.
Well,
does it?
let me share.
I would
Let me
say
share a quick
that I would
story.
say that it's still not right. But yeah, go ahead, Tech. I'm sorry.
Let me share a quick story because something very similar happened to me, and it wasn't until so I started an Armada in TC space, and at the time I think I hit somebody OPL on the ISO and then started an Armada. So somebody comes over and saying you can't hide behind an Armada circle when you hit somebody OPL or whatever the made up rule was at the time. And so what happened was while I was in the Armada circle, there's a guy from that alliance who owns a TC that went in and tried to blow up my ship and died. Now, again, that was a direct attack while in the Armada circle that I started getting. What could have happened, to Handy's point, is if a bold player was close to the Armada circle, or at least close to the person who started the Armada, with a potential of blowing up the leader right before the timer hits 0, then I could see why a player from the opposing team would blow up that individual that was close. I could see that just to ensure that VHC gets the Armada, not waste more directives and whatnot. But to the point of talking, I can see where the disagreements happen in terms of I'm going to shoot first and we'll sort things out later, and then it escalated from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I
and it,
think that's an important distinction. And like I said, we're just speculating at this point.
I yeah, no, but I do want to, Omen, I appreciate you for coming on here, especially with all you're dealing with and laying it out for us and letting us know what's going on so everybody kind of has an understanding of what you all are dealing with, man. And so I definitely, I hope you get better really, really soon.
No, I appreciate it. I'm like this is day 4 of initial symptoms. So I think I've crested the hill, so to speak, and it's just going to get better from here on out. At least I'm not in the hospital on a freaking ventilator, man. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
a good point.
and luckily I had taken a full week's leave from work over the fall break because my wife's a teacher, a high school teacher, and she had homecoming week that last week, and then on Saturday she started feeling sick. So I think she got it during that homecoming week activities, and then she got misdiagnosed as a sinus infection until I started feeling sick, and then I said, no, we're going in for a COVID test, and then we both tested positive. So yeah, I mean that's the perils, risks of being a high school teacher, and she's. We're both fully vaccinated, and she wears a mask and all that stuff. But you never know what the hell you can pick that crap up at.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, without people trying to turn it into some political pseudoscience thing, man, it's just the point is that, it's just the risk you run. And like you say, luckily you don't have to end up in the hospital. Obviously, we know some of the players from our own server that have been really torn up. I mean, one of them we had, one of the guys we had on the show from a different server. Tech probably remembers. I can't remember what server the guy was from. Nice guy, but the guy had COVID, and for like 3 months after that, like his voice was still jacked up. He still had trouble breathing. Like he was really torn up. So thankfully you're not having to deal with that. And yeah, man, kids are gross, man. I don't care what age they are. Like anybody who's not an adult, they're just freaking gross, man. You know, it's just nasty.
Even adults are gross.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Some are.
I'm a parent, you know, and I got two. I got one that's, you know, pushing 10, and then I got another one that's a toddler. And you know, the 10-year-old man, anytime he's always bringing something home. Every time, like that kid. That's the reason I get sick, and I don't ever get sick.
Yeah, I usually stay relatively healthy, but and my wife has a really strong disposition too. She had cancer, breast cancer, probably about 5-6 years ago now. And dude, she worked the entire time, even through chemo. And the only days that she took off from school was the days that she actually had the surgery, and like 1 or 2 days for the follow ups. But you know, she went through chemo and radiation and didn't miss a day. Well, I mean, she missed a couple of days, but you know, I mean, she worked the entire time, man. And it's
That's amazing.
she's a trooper, man. I mean,
Yeah, she is.
yep.
Wow.
And so that's why when she got COVID and she had like the flu symptoms, I was like, nah, something's wrong because you don't get sick.
Yeah, that's. Ranger, you sound like
I'm
shit.
so- yeah,
Yeah,
you
you're
were
cutting out a little bit.
broken and unreadable.
I think you're gonna have to back out and come back in, Ranger.
Your signal's cutting out.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to back out and try to come back in. Just when you do it, just come back in, and we'll bring it back up here.
Or switch to Wi-Fi or cellular, you know, something like that.
Stand with your foot in the air and stick your tongue out and touch your nose.
Yeah.
And that'll give
Pray
you
to the G5 gods.
Take the tinfoil hat off.
There you go. Or put it on. Maybe you get better reception.
Right.
I don't know. Mic check. Ha ha ha.
Excuse me.
So did you get the hellacious like fever and all that, or just like
I
respiratory
did,
stuff?
man, and I was hallucinating also for a little bit. I had
Jeez.
shivers. It was crazy. But the
Yeah, must have
body
been
aches
pretty
is
high.
really what's floored me, man. It's like I freaking hurt in places that I don't think I hurt.
Like
Like the back of my thigh. You know, I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden this is like pain. I was like, what the hell? Or my toe, my right toe just kind of just started throbbing yesterday. I was like, WTF, man, really?
look what the. Why does my
That's
toe
weird.
hurt? It sounds funny, right? But no, I mean, it's like
It is funny, but it's horrible. It's just dumb.
Dude, when I get sick, my wife messes with me because I get sick. So it's so there's so few times that I actually do get like actually sick. I might get the sniffles. You know, I have allergies, so pretty much year round, I have one clogged nostril. My ears are stopped up. It's like 24/7, and it's just the way it is. But when I get sick, I can handle pain. I can handle. I live on a scale of like anywhere between 1 to 3 on a daily basis. I have degenerative disc disease. I have all this other issues, and it doesn't help that I lift all these heavy weights and stuff. So I'm not helping my joints there. But well, maybe I am. But when I get sick, I can deal with the pain. I can deal with the cough. I can deal with the runny nose. I can deal with all that stuff. But the minute that I get a fever, I swear to God, let me get to 99.8, like 100. I turn into a big bitch. Like, I'm just, like, whiny. Like, I'm laying on the couch under the covers. I'm like, can you get me some chicken soup? Like, just...
Oh, I'm the same way, man. My wife made homemade chicken soup a couple of days ago, and I've been eating it. It's gone. I think we have enough for, like, a bowl for lunch.
Jesus, dude. When it comes to fevers, I just can't handle it. I tell people I just turn into a big bitch. If you have to rely on me and I get a fever, just count me out. Just leave me to die, because I'm not helping.
I'm with you.
So, my wife, complete opposite. She could have a fever of like 103, and she'll be like, "I'm going to take the dog for a walk."
I'm trying to follow my own advice and lean into it, but the shit's not working. Excuse me.
Oh my God.
Ranger says, just be careful about day 5 or 6. Hopefully you don't get worse.
All right, I had to go on mute, man, while I hawked up an oyster.
There you go.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus, we got so I see we have Amorgin on the stage. Amorgin, what's up, buddy? What's going over there in Irish land?
We cannot hear you, Amorgin.
If you're talking, I don't see a little green thing pop up, so
Yeah, that bar at the top took about 20 seconds for mine to load for some reason.
Yeah, sometimes
That's
it does
annoying.
that.
Yeah.
Just depends on the Wi-Fi connection, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, mine is super fast, but I don't know.
I got a pounding headache. We invited some one of the gym that I contract out with. I was doing a class, and this guy shows up, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I want to do this, that, and the other." And he was like, "Yeah, I wanted to hire a trainer because that's what I do. I mean, I do bodybuilding coaching and stuff." So he was like, "Yeah, I've been looking to hire somebody to train me, but it's just difficult. I just don't have the cash and blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Well, dude, why don't you just he lives right across the street from me, basically." And I said, "Why don't you just come train with me?" He's like, "All right." So he started coming train with me, and then kind of hit it off, whatever. We kind of starting to become friends. So we invited him over. Well, he and his wife are like 24, like 25. And my wife and I are in our 30s. And so, we're drinking and everything. And, he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't really get hangovers." And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't either when I was in my early 20s, my mid-20s. I was like, wait till you hit the 3-0, buddy. I promise. The day you turn 30, have a drink. Next day, I promise you, you're going to wake up and go, what the fuck?"
Well, you have to learn how to drink all night, so you have a couple of alcoholic beverages and knock back some water, so be hydrated in between. You won't wake up with a hangover, and also take an Advil or some shit at night before you go to bed, and you wake up just fine, man.
I tell people that's why I tell folks all the time, especially the younger crowd. I'm like, when you get older, what you do is you show up and then you have like a drink or two, and then you wait for a while. You don't drink for a while, and then you have one drink, and then you wait, and then I was like, you get to that point where you're feeling good, but then you have to stay there, because if you push too far past that water or Gatorade's not going to help you. You gotta there's a certain point you get to. You got to maintain that and go no further.
Yeah, you got to give it time to metabolize in your system, man.
So, and I don't drink that much anymore either. I can still throw them back, but it's the next day I pay for it. And, they're all like, "Hey, man, want to go out for breakfast?" And I'm like, "Dude, why are you talking to me right now? I don't exist to you until after 3 p.m. Shut the fuck up. Leave me alone."
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty up there. So, but yeah, stuff like that is amazing. And then the same thing with, the sicknesses. I'm a big pussy when it comes to getting sick, but it's even worse now. It takes me even longer to recover. So,
You're a fucking lightweight, Kirk.
You know what? Not all of us can be Irish, buddy.
Just out of curiosity, did everybody's ultra recruits just went away?
Well, that's perfect fucking timing there, Tech, because that's what I wanted to ask you guys is, have you talked about that yet? No?
No. What do you got?
I just logged in game and I'm like,
this Ultra Recruit event is on, and they've removed the Ultra Recruit token section from your recruit options.
What?
And DJ has made an announcement saying that they've taken away the double and triple pull options, but that the single pull option supposedly seems to be it should be there, but everybody's complaining that it's gone. So you've got an ultra recruit event, pull ultra recruits, and they've taken away the fucking ultra recruit option. I don't know what fucking sense. And maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know what fucking sense is in that.
Yeah, I don't see Ultra Recruit on my screen. I see Premium Standard.
Yeah, so there's some scopely logic going on here that it's helping us somehow to give us an Ultra Recruit event and then take away the Ultra Recruit option. One of the guys is guessing that this DOD event that's on as well, the Ultra Recruit is 48 hours, the DOD event is 24 hours. He's assuming that it's just not going to be there for 24 hours until that DOD event is over.
I think here's what I think happened, guys. I think they have changed the Ultra Recruit chest to include to include 4 of 10, and something broke, and now we don't have the chest at all. So they're probably trying to fix it.
There's something that's always
is that your theory, Handy, or have you heard this somewhere?
That is my theory.
Right.
So it's not confirmed. It's just a theory, but it tracks.
I mean, if it involves something breaking in Scopely, I think Scopely is probably French for broken or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
there's something. Yeah, I didn't notice that. I just looked. Yeah, mine's gone too. That's really funny. Hey, here's an Ultra Recruit event, but pull it out of your ass.
Yeah.
Oh, Driift says I completed
ridiculous.
my Ultra Recruit event. Well, fuck you, Driift. You're awesome.
I'd like to hear how Driift managed to do that. Was the Ultra Recruit option there for a couple of minutes or something? Like, I was pretty quick going in and checking that, but it was maybe 5-10 minutes after reset, so maybe it was there for a few minutes.
Driift, just come up. Like, why are we not? Oh, okay. Yeah, why isn't? Come on up here.
What's up?
All right, dude. How did you complete the shit?
So mine only had a single pull, which I thought was kind of weird. But it only took 2 pulls to complete the event.
Is it still there, Driift?
I'll have to look again. Let me see.
I know, according to DJ's announcement, that's the way it's meant to be.
Well, I don't have it at all, and I have not done it yet. So
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, that's what most people seem to be saying.
No, my Ultra Recruit is gone. So I must have caught it right before they took it out.
Right, so they give you a 24-hour Ultra Recruit event, and for like 5 minutes, you can do it, and then they take it away.
Excellent.
Yes.
Working as intended.
I think Handy's theory is starting to look a little bit more likely.
well, because if you look at the event, if you read the event, it says try your luck. Let me pull it back up. Ultra Recruit. It says the time is now to test your luck. Recruit officers out of recruit crate now for 4 of 10. So I don't know what they did, but they tried to do something. And I don't know if they're saying they probably mean that you're going for 4 of 10 with the event, right? It's the SMS. We got 16 shards you can get for this SMS. It's a 2-day event. And like I need 1425. Complete it. Each chest is 150 points. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to need a few pulls. A few full pulls, you know?
I foresee a chest coming in our future.
I want a big apology for this. It's ridiculous.
All right, Karen.
Great game we play. I love it.
Settle down.
Oh, come
I know
on.
what I'm interested in. Oh, I heard Omen saying that he was hallucinating. I want to know, did he get any nice hallucinations?
Yeah. Was it anything pleasant?
Well, none that I could reveal or talk about here in public.
Oh, no, this is the Everything Goes server or podcast.
Oh my god. Are we talking about like Beavis and Butthead Do America full blown like cactus hallucinations?
That was a Nakova induced LSD trip.
Nice.
Nakova induced LSD trip, man. Yeah.
Oh man. So funny
I just
story.
woke up in the middle of the night, didn't know where I was at. I thought I was somewhere else, and I got up to go to the bathroom because I had drank so much water and orange juice before bed. And I actually went to the closet, instead of the bathroom.
Oh God!
I did not know where I was at, man. That's what I mean by hallucinations. It's just like I was in another world, man.
You didn't go in the closet, did you?
No, unfortunately, or fortunately, excuse me, for me, I was out.
Unfortunately, I didn't piss all over my wife's shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she would not like that.
Oh my god! So the first, I had always heard these the youngsters talking about this robo tripping thing where you drink and you have Robitussin or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And I'd heard, I'm like, I don't know what that is. It sounds stupid. Well, one time I wasn't like sick with like a fever or anything, but I had such a bad sinus infection that I couldn't even go to sleep. As soon as I laid down, it was like I sounded like Darth Vader. I was like, and I wanted to sleep so bad. It was like 2 a.m. Luckily, it was the weekend, so I didn't have to be up anywhere. But I wanted to sleep, man. I was so exhausted, but I couldn't sleep. So I had already taken some of the Robitussin, and I'm coughing and all this stuff, and I was like, you know what? I got this vodka. Like, I'll just slam vodka, and I'll just basically pass out. Like, there you go. There's my sleep. And
Right.
so I pounded this vodka, and I'm sitting there in the living room, and I got the TV going. I can't remember. And my girlfriend at the time was asleep in the other room, and I'm just watching TV, just trying to calm down, drift off. I started hearing these, like, electronic, like, voices. And I was like, is Peter Frampton in my bathroom? Like, what the hell's, what the fuck's going on? And so I'm hearing these like robotic voices for like an hour, and it wasn't like it was like when you hear somebody talking from far away, you can't hear what they're saying, but you hear the syllables. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I remembered, and then so I Googled this shit, and they're like, yeah, if you mix alcohol, they call it that way because you hear voices and you start like hallucinating and shit. And I was like, I don't know why this is fun. This is really scary. This is really weird.
Hey, welcome NightFury to the stage.
Oh, finally, okay.
So, you there, bud? You're muted at the moment.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Join us next week.
That sounds so weird. Welcome, NightFury. I'm like, all right, where's the flame throwing dragons?
Every time I see DHS, for some reason, I always think of Department of Homeland Security.
I know, right?
Like, does the federal government have a superhero or something that we
They
know
do.
about?
Now you know. You gotta unmute. Server muted or something? No.
No, his mic is muted.
You guys hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, we got you, Amorgin.
I want to share a wee story with you. It might be common enough, but before the reset there, that Romulan event, farming the Reds, I want to give a wee shout out to V Ready. We had a bit of crack for about 15 minutes before the event. Chris from before our servers merged, he was one of the most active players, I suppose, on their server. The two boys wouldn't have got on with each other, and I got on about an hour before the reset, and I was like in 12th or 13th place, and I thought, you know what, I'll try to get into the next bracket. I'll try and get into 10th place, do a bit of farming on Reds here. So I was up in deep space doing that, and about 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, this fucking Chris guy starts hitting my ships, you know, when I'm out with the Pike Moreau Chen crew on, you know, and to match him, like, he's a higher level than me, like, but to match him, I would have had to take my fucking auger, and I wouldn't have been able to farm. So it was either hit him and do PvP or carry on and try to farm these Reds. And V Ready came up and he covered me, but this prick with like 10 minutes to go, and I was only just shy of 10th place, got into 11th place, and desperately, like, right up until like the last 2 minutes of the event, it looked like he was going to stop me from fucking taking 10th place and getting into the higher bracket. But thanks to V Ready, he for every hit your man put on the my auger, V Ready took out his ship, you know. But fuck, for about 15 minutes it was tough going. It was tight. Like, it was the best crack I had in the game. Like, I pissed off at that Chris guy, but the best crack I had in this game in a long time. Don't often bother with the events. It's not like the fucking rewards were that great, but when you're dealing with an enemy alliance and they're trying to stop you from placing, ultimately what happened was they got the guy who was ahead of me, or who I was overtaking, they got him back online and he got ahead of me, but they displaced one of their own players. So just want to share that wee story because the adrenaline's still pumping a little.
That's funny. Well, good times.
Good crack. And then fucking reset happens and this stupid fucking ultra recruit stuff.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that.
So what were you drinking last night, Kirk? What's caused the hangover?
Kirk's gone,
Oh,
man.
he's not Robbie Tussin and vodka, like.
He's split, man. He's out.
Yeah, so Amorgin, those last 2-day events, I have to say Scopely did well with that because it gave everybody a chance to place if they actually put some effort into it. Because I got 9th place in yesterday's event. Not yesterday, day before. It took a little bit of grinding, but I don't normally mess around with AIM either. But I actually got a chance to place in an event, so it was kind of nice.
I think I got 135th place. Just because I just don't. Oh, sorry, 112th. I just don't grind because I'm like grinding for an event is just like it's worse than watching paint dry.
Do we have you now, NightFury?
Yeah, sorry, my delay, but when I clicked accept, all my audio was gone.
No worries. So, we wanted to ask you what's going on with the VHC war with BOLD, and we wanted to get VHC's side of the story at what happened.
I'll tell what happened from our side, and by the way, I'm sorry if my English is not so good, but I'm from Brazil.
We can understand you just fine.
What happened was during the Armada event, Red 5 entered was scouting systems after Armada. He entered one system and saw a damaged Armada. Okay, there was no ships around it. Okay, and he said it. No worries. Right after that, few BOLD ships warped in, and I can guarantee you that if any of them had told him, "Hey, we were working on that Armada," we would have dropped it. But instead of that, they started to target our ships. And
So
when they
some of
did
your
that, we
ships,
fought back.
some of your
I
ships lit
wasn't
up
even
red,
on.
then were targeted.
Yes, I wasn't even on. I didn't saw that, but I got all the reports and chat screenshots and everything else. Then I started to talk to Coma. He told me
You're cutting out a little bit, Ben.
that happened several hours earlier. I assumed everything was taken care of. When he told me not, I started to talk to my guys, and they sent me everything, and they had about it. And Coma sent me a screenshot to prove we took their Armada. Okay, fair enough. But the screenshot he sent me showed a gap between the failed Armada and the first message from their guys to Red 5, where he said Red 5 had stolen their Armada. There was a 2-minute gap.
Right.
So I assumed
They didn't
with that
restart it
proof,
right away,
yes,
basically.
I assume. Coma told me that it was an instant reset from my guy, but the 2-minute gap shows me he didn't really saw any ships, and there was, if not 2 minutes, but close to it. Because his guy message was very clear. He said, "You just stole my armada." If you send a message saying you just did it, means you sent the message right away with a
So
2-minute gap.
he sent a message 2 minutes into the armada, into the rerun.
His guy sent a message to Red 5 saying Red had just stole his armada, but that message was sent 2 minutes after the failed armada.
Got it.
So,
So he probably
when
was. So we're assuming he was AFK or something and didn't realize he failed it right away.
I'm
And
not
then he
sure
went.
I can tell you that, but
Yeah.
when I was talking to Koma about it, his demands to let it go were an apology for that guy. I was okay with that.
Yeah.
He demanded us to set another epic and let them have it after we fail. And I said, no, I won't tell my guys to waste their epic directives over an unwanted issue. And his last demand was to demote one of my Commodores. And I also told him I won't let anyone ever tell me who is my Commodore or not. So I
Of course.
defined that too. After that, my guys started to get hit.
Well, even they knew you weren't going to demote your Commodore, but and I also agree that forcing a player to waste epic directives probably isn't really the answer. You know what I mean? To purposely set an armada and try and fail it is just a waste of directives. That's just counterproductive to how we play this game. And ask somebody to do that is literally telling them to, go burn $20. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's right. So
Was
I
my thought
can't
too.
disagree with you.
Well, that's the side I have from this story and from my talk to Coleman. I have no idea what else I can say about it. We have all obviously fighting back, although they have bigger ships than ours, but we're doing our best here. I know some of my guys may have been hunting OPL in other PCs and everything else, and I'm sorry for that. We don't usually do that, but we're running out of options some ways.
Well, I guess the next step would be to ask Bold what they now, or what will it take to end the conflict, right?
Yeah,
Now, Omen,
to be
can you
honest,
speak to that?
I had talked to Koma last night, and I told him to stop all aggression against us and remove the Q1 site for a short period of time so I could talk to my guys and even try to get a way to set that epic. I'm out of directives. I can't do that unless I buy a pack. But to talk to my guys and even try to get what he wants. And his answer was, we're happy to keep it going. I won't stop it, and feel free to do whatever you want. Basically that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk when I just don't want to interrupt anybody.
All right, go ahead.
Hey,
Omen,
NightFury, this is Omen in game. Thank you for being on here. I stated the facts as I knew them earlier because I wasn't there, but I was quickly in that system via the game when I clicked on it to see what was going on. Here, I got one question for you. Have you asked Red, the player that took the Armada, how long between the time he warped into that system, saw the Armada hurt and damaged, and then launched it? Have you asked him that question? And if
Yes,
and what
he
did he
told me.
say? Because I
He
have a
said,
screenshot.
but he also told me there was no boat ships around it.
No, that's not what I asked.
Oh, he
I
did
asked
it right
how
away.
long between the second he warped in, saw it hurt Armada, and launched it. How long did that elapse? How long was the
About
time?
2 seconds.
About 2
Not
seconds.
three.
Okay. All right. With not 2 minutes, but within 30 seconds, Howard Stern, our player that had lost the Armada, messaged him, and Red replied to him with, "I came in, saw it, launched it. Event. This is an event. Too bad.
Yes.
Sorry, buddy." Okay. And then, so that was the conversation
Yes.
because Howard said, "Hey, you just took our Armada. Let me finish, please. You just took our Armada." So as Howard
That's
is
the
coming
point.
back in,
That was
hang
not
on.
his
May I
message.
finish?
Oh, okay.
May I
Okay.
finish, please?
Sure.
Thank you. So as Howard is coming back in and having this conversation, your level 49 hits him. We didn't fire the first round. I think there is a severe lack of understanding of what the facts actually are, because the escalation started on your part, on your alliance's part, not ours. And so we in turn escalated that. I mean, obviously you guys won the Armada. The level of ships that we had there were mid-level players, and there's no way they could have stood up to your level 49. Okay, if I was there, that level 49 would have been dust because anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, I would have died 3 or 4 ships killing him. But that wasn't the fact. The fact the fact is simply that we lost an Armada. You guys launched it within a second, and I'm hearing that you guys have a 1-minute wait requirement for your for somebody to launch a herd Armada, which didn't happen by your own account. You just said 3 seconds. 2, your level 49 fired the first shot on our level 35 player, while that level 35 player was trying to have a conversation with the person that started the Armada. And there was nothing in that conversation that was off-putting. I mean, it was a decent conversation. Hey, you just took our Armada. Too bad, so sad. Sorry, it's an event. So
Okay.
those are the facts. And it wasn't that we started hitting your ships the very next minute. I mean, the ones that won the Armada, sure, but those players lost against your ships. There was a 24-hour period where diplomatic talks failed because you assigned that level 49, who has a history with BOLD, to run Diplo for you, which is to me is a failure in leadership. Over, and I'll stop there before I start coughing up.
Okay. No worries. I just want to say that yes, Red set the Armada a few seconds after he warped in that system, not a few seconds after you guys failed. That's not what I said. What I
Right, but
said is he warped in the system, saw the damaged Armada, no ships around it, no reset, so he took it. Yes.
The ships were there within seconds of him
No.
launching it, though. They were on their way
Well,
back. It was less than 30 seconds, man.
one
It
one
wasn't the
second,
2-minute
Omen.
thing.
but
The
his own screenshot show
the
it 2 minutes.
screenshot of the conversation 2 minutes after the Armada is not an indication of when the Armada was lost. It's an indication of when the communication was taking place, because there is a communications lag.
Well, okay.
One sec, Omen. Let him.
After you win, I can talk.
Okay, go ahead.
The only proof Coma sent me about that was those screenshots that proved otherwise what he was saying. He was saying it was an instant reset. It was not. The screenshots proved there was a 2-minute gap between your guy message and my guy setting and your Armada failed. Sorry, but also your guy wasn't so polite as you were saying. His message was, "Hey, you just stole our Armada." He didn't ask it to us to give it back. He didn't say anything. And yes, you just admitted that your guys targeted the Armada leader. So yes, we fought back. for sure, I would have fought back too. And no, I didn't trusted Toruk to do the diplomatic with your guys in that matter. I would have trusted any of my commodores, him included, but I wasn't even online. I'm in Brazil, in Brazilian time. It was around 1 o'clock a.m. here. I was sleeping. I didn't even saw that.
Wait.
But
Hold
Henry,
on. Did you say? Did you say Toruk? Toruk is.
Yes.
So, I think you're missing one critical point here. One critical thing is that Toruk killed Howard first.
Yep.
Then we shot back. That's the thing that you're missing, dude. That's the thing that you're missing. And also assigning an officer that has history with BOLD and history of because of Toruk, we actually went to war with Nona. So Toruk is no longer with us for a reason. I mean, yeah, he left on his own accord, but he was within minutes of getting kicked anyway. I think he felt the disturbance in the force. Over. I'll stop there because this is the thing that I prefaced this entire conversation with before you logged on, the NightFury, is that there is one set of facts. However, there's two diametrically opposed views of what actually happened. And everything is laid out in the screenshots and in the messaging. It's laid out perfectly clear. We're focusing on a 2-minute gap of communications between the time this or that was sent. When the fact of the matter is, when you talk to the people that were there in the trenches on spot, Red came in. 3 seconds later, launched the Armada. Within 30 seconds, Howard Stern messages him, and then Howard shows up and gets blown away by Toruk. And then we shot back. And by the way, every one of those players that were there died because they could not stand up to Toruk's ships. And then we had a 24-hour diplomatic session with Toruk that failed, and that's why we're at war. I mean, it's pretty simple. And to ask for an epic,
there was no 24 hours with Toruk.
Yes, there was before we went to war, declared war on you. It was a 24-hour period.
12 hours.
The next day after that incident. Go ahead.
As soon as I got on, I started to talk to Common. I took every one of my commodores out of it and started myself to talk to Common.
It was a 24-hour period when we were
everything
talking.
I just told here. I told him everything I just told here. And yes, I told him after your guys started hitting me. And he messaged me 4 days later because I tried to, and he never answered me. He was completely silent.
We need to get Coma in here because I can't speak for him. I have
all the screenshots if you want to. I can send you.
I have all the screenshots of the conversations, NightFury. Coma shares them, and he shares them with the entire alliance. He is not. Yeah. There's
as I do too.
Transparency.
But
okay, so hey guys, I'm sort of misunderstanding something here as I'm listening to you. During this interchange before Toruk blasted Howard, was there a moment that VHC ships were targeted?
No,
I'm missing that segment. How were they targeted, and what happened there?
Yes, they were targeted. The Armada leader was targeted, and then we fought back with all ships.
Okay, the Armada leader was targeted after Toruk hit Howard. The timeline is mushy in how you understand it happening. And that's why I keep saying there's only one set of facts. The people that were there need to tell you the truth. They need to come clean with the way the events actually rolled out. We have no interest in continuing to fight you guys because this whole thing is actually kind of dumb. You guys made a mistake. And all we were asking, and I know that third thing that we asked was a little over the top, but there was something in parentheses there that said this is negotiable, right? But the other two things is if you turn over an Epic Armada that's hurt, both teams have a zero net sum gain in terms of winning and losing an Epic, because we both win an Epic and we both lose an Epic, and it goes back to zero. Okay, so we both are out 2 sets of directives for 2 epics and win 1 each. And
But
that
two
levels the
wrong.
field and it ends this. I don't
No,
even
but
care, and I
Omen,
can't speak for Coma, but I don't even care if you issue an apology. Over.
Omen.
Yeah.
I do want to say real quick that 2 wrongs don't make a right, and forcing somebody to lose an armada on purpose and give Scopely free money is asinine.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a point, and that's your opinion, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to agree or disagree with it at the moment. I don't want to talk philosophy or get existential with that.
I
But
totally understand. And
but but the
I do see your point that it
yeah,
would make it fair.
yeah, it would be the same loss and win for both teams, and we've done
And
this before. We've
I
done this
know, and
before.
I do agree with you. It would make it fair. I just have a fundamental disagreement that I don't agree that anybody should give Scopely
Yeah,
more more
and
money
that
than, you know
that
what I
I'm
mean?
I'm, I'm in 100% agreement with you in that, but unfortunately we're addicted to this game. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be at the levels that we're at. We wouldn't have the ships that we have. And I know some, like your ships are probably like 3 times bigger than mine. So I can understand the investment of real life money and time that you've made, because I've made an investment too. Just for the sake of my entertainment and my social entertainment here. But at the end of the day, what we're talking about is we were wronged, right? VHC feels that they were wronged, and we're at an impasse. So
Well,
if
here's
both
one
if
thing I would request of NightFury is to get on a voice chat or text, whatever. And he needs to talk to his guys again. He needs to talk to Turk and anybody else that was there. And he needs to find out without, he needs to ask all of them,
you know
were you targeted or did you just blow them up first? Like, he needs to get the truth out of them, whatever that truth is. Even if it's just reaffirming what he's already been told,
yeah,
or maybe they'll tell him something different. Or maybe
well,
they'll tell him, I don't know if he was targeted. That's just what he said. Who
I would,
knows? But he
yeah, I
needs to
would,
verify that.
The other thing
that's
that
good
I would
advice.
the other thing I would say is um, I've done what Red has done before. If there's nobody around and I warp into a system and I see a damaged armada, it doesn't happen often. I usually look around, scan, and then I launch it, because if there's nobody
We
around
all have. We all have.
to
We've
do,
all done
to
that.
do it, and so what I would say is that 2 minutes between you failing an armada and trying to start it again, that's a really long time in game. I
Now,
mean,
in
it's a real.
hindsight, though, what Bold's argument is he didn't know that. See, he saw it, waited a few seconds, looked for any players in the area, and then just
Correct.
started it.
Thank
Now,
you.
Right.
Night Fury, what I instruct my players to do is, if they see a damaged armada, they have to wait 30 seconds before they can start it. And it doesn't matter if it's been sitting there for for 1 second or an hour. As soon as they see a damaged armada, especially during an event, wait 30 seconds and then launch it. And I think if you agree to that and make sure all your players understand that going forward, that would probably go a long way towards showing Bold that you take it seriously and you want to make sure it doesn't happen again.
I would like
Um,
to add, Handy, that we have a 2-minute rule when you see a herd armada, and 2 minutes is hours, in game. It really
that's
is.
too long. 2 minutes
Yeah,
is too
no, but
long.
yes, but what it does, it eliminates. We've gone to war before with Mob over an armada who's now MBD and our closest ally. I mean, we actually came together after that war and realized that we had a lot of similarities in our gameplay and philosophies, etc. But my point is that if you wait 2 minutes, somebody else might take it, sure, that didn't start it, but it also eliminates the issue that we have here and now. 30 seconds is a bit tight. I would say a minute might be a little more palatable, just like the right amount of time. But that's
Well,
that's
I've
open to
timed it
interpretation, man.
before.
Um,
If you're paying attention, it takes you about 5 seconds to repair, reacquire, and launch it.
if you have a ship that has the warp capability to get back to where it was within that time frame, because some of our mid-level players, if they're kind of far out, they actually wait to get there to start it. But this didn't happen in this case. But yeah, so there's no perfect scenario in where you lose something and you immediately relaunch it. I mean, it wasn't in dark space, so we didn't have to transit back up there to be able to see it to relaunch it. And
Yeah,
I don't
deep space is
disagree.
a little different. I could see a
Right.
minute or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, really, unless you say 5 minutes or 10 minutes in
Yeah.
deep space, it's just basically if you fail an armada in deep space, you better have another ship there. That's all. So take 2 ships if you want to make sure you keep the armada during an event. It would be my advice for dark space. And I would still keep the 30-second rule. Because otherwise, you're going to have people, wanting you to wait 10 minutes to make
Yeah.
sure somebody has time, and that's just unreasonable.
And
But
on top of all of that, our player wasn't like, "Hey, buddy, we were working on that." No, he just said, "Hey, you just took that." So it's like, put it down.
that's a
So
normal reaction, yeah.
it's normal. It wasn't not nice, but it wasn't it wasn't over the top. I guess nice either, but it was just straight conversation between two people playing the game. And your guy didn't respond, I guess, ugly either. He just said essentially, "Too bad, so sad. We're in an event. I saw it. I took it," which is an admittance of guilt. And if you have a rule, I was told in NightFury that you have a rule to wait a minute in VHC. If he
Okay.
launched it within 2 seconds, he did not comply with that rule. Now I could be mistaken, but that's what I was told by one of your players who are talking to us, by the way. Over.
Can I speak now?
Oh,
Yep.
I
sorry. Yeah.
never said Red was right. I never said we did the right thing. I do agree that he should waited a bit longer before setting it. Yes, I never told Coma we were right. Never, 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 never. All I told him it was an unintentional mistake. And yes, your guy wasn't polite, was understandable. No worries about that. But he never asked for us to stand down before my Armada leader was targeted. Never. I can tell you that if he had asked Red to stand down because you guys were working on that Armada, or we just hit that and there was no time to reset it and anything else, he would have dropped it. He had done it a few times before in Exchange Armadas, in other kinds of Armadas. We have done this. I have done this. All my guys done this, including in that same day. There was a look-like issue with Die. We stand down an Epic Armada, by the way, and they said it right away. There was no issue, no further issue.
NightFury, we're talking in
I
circles,
never
man.
said I never said Red was right
No,
or
but you
we
said
didn't do
if
wrong.
he would have,
No, no, no,
if
no.
you,
Let me finish, please. Let me finish, please. I never said that. And all I said was that I didn't agree with your demands because you were telling us to waste $20, $30. I don't have that math because I pay in Brazilian currency. But your guys were telling my guys should waste money, real money, to repay for an unwanted mistake. It was not, he didn't warp in, oh, Bold's gonna fail that Armada, I'm gonna reset it. He never saw your guys' ships. That's what I'm saying.
just waited 3 seconds, man.
Oh, 3 seconds. Okay, he was wrong on that, but there was no ships of your guys around it. Your guys were warping, were waiting to reset it. I have no idea what happened about your guys not resetting it. I'm not telling you, he was right. I'm telling you he didn't wait. Yes, he was wrong in that. But since there was no ships around it, there was no way he would know if it was boat that failed, if it was GTS that have failed and had no water directives to reset it. There was no way he could do that. After he set, instead of warping in, targeting first or second after being killed or nothing, or not, he had said, "Hey, you were working on that. You guys just killed my ship. Can you drop it?" I bet you, Red would have dropped it. And if he didn't, after seeing those screenshots, I would myself have bought a pack of directives and set an epic to give you guys back. That's my point. That's my point. The way Coma and other of your guys treated it, not the right or wrong thing. That's my point here.
Okay. Well,
And I told that to Coma.
I'll refer back to what you said, that if we would have asked for you guys to stand down from the Armada because we were working on it, Red would have done that. But I offer you the fact that stating to Red, "Hey, we were working on that," is asking him to stand down. Red responding with "Too bad, so sad. This is an event. Sorry, buddy," is a finger to Bold. Okay, that's we can discuss all of this over and over and over again, but I truly think that the facts around the case are mushy in VHC because of who was involved. And I'll just leave it at that, man. I mean, if we're at an impasse and we need to continue this and I'll just call it a dumb war, we will. I mean, something has to be done to make it right. Because you guys drew the first shot, not us. You guys stole the Epic Armada, and we asked for it back. And you guys said, "Too bad, so sad." That's exactly what happened, and that's why we have a crazy 2-minute rule before launching a herd Armada. And there's been cases when some of our folks have launched an Armada, and we get a message, "Hey, we were working on that," and I tell them to stand down and give it up, and we pull out of that Armada, because that's the right thing to do. Instead of raiding your bases for 2 or 3 days, hitting everything and anything on site, preventing your guys from mining and all that stuff. Those epic directives that I'm sure Tor has, a million of them, saved up, would have been nothing to give up and avoid all of this conflict. But again, when we issued three requirements, right? This is our demands. That begins the point of discussion. You guys just immediately shut them all down and refuse to discuss instead of proceeding with diplomatic.
No. Let me just point one thing here that you may have been missing. When I declined those demands, I sent the screenshot to my council, okay? And while we were discussing it, Turok himself offered to give an epic back. And
Perfect.
while we were talking to him about it, your guys started to hitting at my guys without any further notice.
Okay.
That's why we completely stopped talking about that.
I think
And
what's missing
I
here.
can prove you.
No,
said that.
yeah, we started hitting you after we declared war, but there was a 24.
But there
Actually, it
there
was
was
23 hours,
no
22,
declared
23 hours.
war to us.
It was
There
the
was no
next
declared
day.
war to us.
We're not going to announce to you that we declare war on you. We're just going to declare war. Just like when Nona rolled into Bold territory and I messaged Handy, he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" "Oh, we're fucking war." Okay. Well, he didn't say that to me, but I eventually found out.
Okay.
No, there was a 22, 23 hour period where diplomatic talks were happening that failed. I don't know if you wanted more or what, but
No.
you didn't communicate
No.
that. You didn't say, "Hey, Coma, give me 48 hours and I will get back to you with our counter to your demands," which, by the way, are effing unreasonable. And this is why. But let me work it out. I recommend that we cease all hostilities at the moment. And as a leader, knowing that level 49 has history with Bold and the rest of the server, I would have removed that Commodore from the diplomatic discussions just to make it more fair and equitable on both sides. Over.
That's exactly what I proposed to Coma yesterday night.
Okay.
I
All
told
right.
him, let's seize everything, stop everyone hitting everyone, so I can talk with my guys without getting people saying, "Hey, I
I'm
just
reading.
hit. Hey, I
I'm
just
reading
hit.
what you
Hey,
wrote,
I
Night
just hit."
Fury, and you said until your guys stop hitting us, we're not going to, blah 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 blah. That's not
No, no.
asking for a ceasefire. That's that's not asking for a ceasefire. I mean, maybe it's just lost in translation, and I'll give you that because of the language barrier, which is now more understandable, and maybe we need to be a little less critical about the context of what's being
The
communicated.
verbiage.
Yeah, exactly, the language, knowing moving forward. So maybe there was some of that as that aggravated or exacerbated the situation, and I'll give you that. I'm not sure what's your primary language.
Portuguese.
Portuguese. Well, I don't speak Portuguese, pero sí hablo español. Y si queremos continuar en español, podemos hacer eso. No
I
hay
don't
problema.
speak Spanish.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. So, but my wife speaks
Omen.
Portuguese, so maybe we can get her here. Anyway, I don't think I have anything else to say. I kind of said the same thing over and over again. We're actually in an impasse. I would strongly encourage NightFury to reach out to Coma and simply state, I want the ceasefire for the next 24 hours so we can get this figured out. Plain language, plainly spoken, plainly communicated. And I'm pretty sure that I can convince the rest of the commission and the crew to take a 24-hour break. I think everybody would kind of enjoy it. But it'd come up on Monday anyway. What do you think?
I'm okay with that.
I'll just hit both of your
Good with you?
armadas, and then we'll settle it that way.
Say again?
I said I'll just hit both of your armadas, and then it'll be settled that way.
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time, sailor.
All right, guys. I think we've run over our limit here for about 2.5 hours. NightFury, thanks for stopping by. I do want to get you guys back on the show next week to see how things have resolved themselves, or if they've resolved themselves. I want to know what steps you guys take to further solidify your relationship to peace, I guess, or how you get back to peace. And and Omen, I hope you get better, buddy. I hope you get past the worst of it.
Well, at least I'm not effing hallucinating anymore, man. But I'm on day 4, maybe 5 of this COVID shit. But I'm hearing day 5 and 6 are bad too. But I don't know. I'm taking next week off from work as well. I'm lucky I work for the federal government, and I have a ton of freaking sick leave and regular leave that I can just cash out. So
good. Just get some rest, man. And thank you for stopping by today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite.
Thanks everyone.
Fury.
And Omen,
Yes, sir.
can I just ask you one last thing?
Sure.
That you tell Coma what I'm trying to ask for 24 or anytime ceasefire so I can talk to my guys about it.
I can relay the message.
I will send him the message.
Yeah.
But just to be on the safe side, so he knows that if I mess with the message, what I really want.
Yeah, that's fine. And if Tor is willing to give up some directives, man, just it'll end this like now, but it's a discussion that needs to happen, and we're okay. Well, I'm okay with the 24-hour ceasefire. I just have to bring it back to the table, but it would go a long way for you just to tell Coma, hey, man, simple language, right? Just say requesting a 24-hour ceasefire while we work this shit out. Just plain and simple. And Coma's not an unreasonable person. He only becomes unreasonable when he feels he's not being heard or understood.
Okay. I can definitely go with that. No worries.
Okay.
All right, guys. NightFury, Omen, Amorgin. Who else we had on the show today? Rescue Ranger.
Driift.
Yeah, Driift. That guy. Thanks everybody for coming on. Thanks everybody for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all those things that help with the algorithm. I want to thank everybody for listening. As always, this has been Trek Talk. I'm TechMan16.
And I'm
Thanks,
Strange Handy.
everyone.
And Kirk's LARPing again. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.